Hi guys, welcome to Homebrew Wednesday this week. It's I think it's about 9 o'clock in the morning. I just showed some footage of outside and whatnot there. So today's topic, amongst other things, is beer for breakfast. I wasn't going to do this because see, what happened was I fell asleep last night, slept all night, and woke up this morning at around 5 a.m. and realized I hadn't done my I hadn't done my Homebrew Wednesday video. Well, you can see, by the way, what I'm working on right here. So I'm working on it very diligently. Should have that up in a day or two. Yeah, very excited to have this video on YouTube. And I thought I'll just do my Homebrew Wednesday video without a beer. But then I started thinking people aren't going to like that. And I was thinking, well, come on, Craig, you know. So I've been awake for 4 hours. I did have a little bit of something to eat. Why not have a beer for breakfast? I don't normally do this, but hey, it's a Homebrew Wednesday, and I'm only going to have this one. So cheers. Now, let's talk about what we're going to cover during this Homebrew Wednesday. The other thing I have for you is a little surprise. Now, this is a little bass-ackwards, but here is a very early sample of my all-grain beer. I just transferred it, and I know you haven't seen the video yet, but I'm not going to disclose anything that you won't, I'm not going to spoil the video. I just transferred it from primary to secondary, and it's sitting at 1.010 right now. Had a starting gravity of 6.8. Now it's at 1.0. So it's attenuated very, very well. Of course, it's very young, it's not clear. There is some residual fermentation going on. I did, like you saw, I put it in the secondary there, covered it in something so it wouldn't get lights hitting it all the time. And again, this being a little bass-ackwards, because you haven't even seen the actual making of it yet, but we're going to do a little taste. If you don't want to see this right now, if you want to wait till after you watch the brewing video, then you can stop this or just fast forward it and miss this part. But I'm extremely curious to see what this tastes like, to see how it's coming along. Obviously, it's not going to be, it's not going to be the final product, but we all know what our beer tastes like when it's at this stage, and I'm going to have a go at it. So obviously it's flat. It's got a nice kind of a copper color there. Let's see what it tastes like. Now, this is not an official tasting. You'll see that in a couple weeks when we actually taste it for the first time out of the keg, when it's cleared up and nicely aged. But let me just see what this, because I can't wait. I got to do this. I got to do this. Here we go. That's going to be nice. That's going to be nice. It's going to be a little sweet. There's still a lot of hops there that are going to mellow. But it's a very round flavor. In other words, it's very balanced. It's very smooth. Yeah, it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be good. I'm very pleased. So watch for that video. It's coming out either today or tomorrow. It takes me hours to render these in HD. Do you guys watch my videos in 1080? How many of you watch them in 1080? Because if you don't watch them in 1080, I won't bother rendering them in 1080. But I like to have the highest resolution possible so that you can see things like this, without having to, without it being blurry. But if nobody watches it in 1080, then I may as well just do it in 720. So let me know if you guys, if you do. But don't post comments yet, because there's more, and you'll be posting tons of comments. We're going to give it a couple weeks in there. So like me, you're going to have to wait for the final verdict on that one. And even after that, I might rest it in the keg for a little while in the teaser to further help it clear. I want to give this beer the best fighting chance I can. You know, you guys all know when you do all grain, you always try your best to do everything top notch, which is probably one of the reasons why it tastes so much better sometimes than what you've been doing. For me, I'm pretty careful when I brew my beers. Sometimes I rush through and just throw down a quick batch. Sometimes I take care and do everything just right. So it depends on how much time I have. Pleasant, very pleasant for what it is at this point. I have high hopes for this beer. I'm telling you right now, that's going to be good. Okay, now, as you can see, I am currently working on this. This is the video for the making of that beer. And I don't necessarily know how, like I know I filmed most of it, but there are some little things I missed. But I will make sure I voice over and explain, you know, what I did. It was difficult to film it and do it for the first time. I didn't know my equipment at all. I was kind of rustling around trying to get things right. But at any rate, that's coming out. I did use Beersmith to make the video, and I think like I said before, I think I'm gonna buy it. So I want to talk a little bit about Beersmith. I also want to talk a little bit about why I did a yeast starter using dry yeast for that beer. And which obviously didn't hurt it at all because it's gone. It's attenuated it right down to 10. So first of all, Beersmith. The problem I had, and if any of you guys know Beersmith well, if you have the program and you're good at it, please get in touch with me because I wouldn't mind a little tutoring. I put my equipment in the best I could. You know how you do that. You tell it what you've got, how big's your mash tun, how big's your pots, and all these things, so that you know it can help calibrate everything easier for you. So I did all that to my best ability. There are some things in there that I don't know what to do with them, so that would be something I would love some help with. In the end, with the recipe, I really had a lot of fun developing I knew what I was going to brew, but I had fun tweaking, and I changed a few things here and there just to get all the stuff where I wanted it. It underestimated my strike water temperature, and it underestimated my strike water volume. So I had a little trouble with my strike water temperature and that. So you'll see in the video how I handled that. And so you know what I want to do is I want to get it so that it's accurate, so that I know what to expect, and I know that the amount of water it's telling me to use is the right amount. And so if somebody could help me tweak that, that would be awesome. So it also underestimated my sparge water as well. So something wrong in there. I'll have to fix that. I thoroughly enjoyed the all grain process. Thoroughly enjoyed it. It was very relaxing. I do want to tell you that from my personal experience, this is coming from my personal experience, I'm really glad that I had other brewing experience under my belt. I'm really glad I did all those beer kits. I'm glad I did all the Coopers, and I still do Coopers. That's a Coopers, okay? It's a souped up one, but yeah. I'm really glad I did the partial extract beers that I've done, the mini mashes that I've done. I think that the all grain process for me wouldn't have been as relaxing if I had all these unknowns to deal with. So I know some of you have done all grain and then you've done it first thing, you never did any other method before, you just started with all grain, and that's commendable, I must say. Personally, I don't think that would have been for me. I'm more of a when I buy a new phone or a new something, I read the instructions. I sit and I read the instructions. I get all that in my head so that when I'm fiddling with it, I don't have to panic and go, oh no, what's going on? Why is this happening? You know, because I've read the damn instructions. So I'm like that. I'm kind of particular and meticulous about things, about knowing everything I can about it before I jump in and do it. And that's why having all the brewing experience that I've got under my belt really, really helped, I swear to you, to make the all grain experience that much more relaxing, that much less scary. And I'm not worried about my beer. I know the beer is worked out. I just proved that. I'm not worried about infections. I'm not worried about I've added too much of this or not enough of that. Nothing. It's all good. I know it's going to work out, and won't be the best all grain beer I've ever brewed, but it certainly is not going to be a failure. Okay, and I attribute that to having a lot of brewing experience from beforehand. So if you're new to brewing, my advice to you, this isn't shared by everybody, but my advice to you is do the kits first. Do the, get some partial extract kits, or do the Cooper's kits and that. I love Cooper's. I still use their products all the time. And there's ways of making those things taste really nice, So I haven't jumped off the Cooper's wagon. I haven't jumped off the, the kit wagon or the partial wagon. I'm still going to do all those beers. In fact, I told you before, I'm going to redo a whole string of series of videos showing how I do those kits and how I brew them, and how, I can make them taste good. Okay, oh, yeast. Okay, so why did I make a yeast starter? Because I saw the comments in my last Homebrew Wednesday video about making a yeast starter from dry yeast. And here's why. I only had one package of that yeast, the Safale US-05. I can't buy that here. I can get it, but it's not in that original package. It's kind of like bulk, sort of. And I don't want to mix the two. I just wanted to do it with the one sealed package and whatnot. So Beersmith, here we go again with Beersmith. The calculations were telling me that there wouldn't be enough yeast. There wouldn't be a big enough yeast count for what I was going to be doing with the gravities and everything like that. And so I decided to do a starter, and that's why I did a starter, because I didn't think that I knew the gravity of this beer was going to be sort of fairly high, and I didn't think that just sprinkling it on top was going to do the trick. Okay, so that's why. And I'm glad I did it, because the attenuation has gone down to quite low, so it's doing a great job. The other reason I did a yeast starter is because I didn't know. I don't get the logic behind this. People say don't use dry yeast to make a yeast starter. Okay, so here's my question: what's the difference between sprinkling the yeast on your wort and dealing with that sort of low yeast count and killing off a lot of your yeast cells? You lose a lot of yeast cells when you do that, I've read. What's the difference between that and sprinkling it into a starter, which is a wort, the same as your beer, and letting it get a head start for 24 hours before you add it into your wort, into your real beer? That was my logic. I don't see a problem with that myself. I don't personally understand why that's a bad thing. You're still sprinkling it into a wort. It's going to multiply and do its thing. Why not get that going the day before so that you've got a huge cell count, dump that into your beer? So that's the reasoning behind it, and I'm open to ridicule or advice or whatever as to what's the logic behind not making a yeast starter with dry yeast. Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna finish this. I'm gonna see now. I'm double fisted again, and I'm gonna finish my breakfast. Let's try this again. Good stuff. Thank God the wife's at work. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Please come see me on Friday, 10 p.m. Eastern, on justin.tv/CraigTube. Love to see you there. Love to play a song for you if I can. Love to hear from you on Skype as well. Cheers. 17 is the magic number these days. I'm going to do a little bit of editing for you guys, and we'll see you on the flip side. Take care. Cheers.